Hello everyone. Welcome back. It is time for racing action. My name is Strafium and we are here for round 9 of the Endurance Series following the Formula 1 calendar. And joining me for the back-to-back action in Austria, well, my fellow Austrian GP specialist and counterpart partner in crime, Unicorn. How you doing?
Yes, Jeff, I am doing good. Thank you. Looking forward to this one. Like you say, we're a bit of a dream team when it comes to Austrian Grand Prix. Our second on the bounce in the Endurance Series. We've done plenty of these in the past, but it's an exciting track. A lot of action. We saw, great qualifying today in real life. Great race last week here, both in real life and here as well in the Endurance Series. And hopefully tonight can deliver as well.
That's right. I'm really looking forward to a solid race, and we have some exciting stuff happening today. Also, we are going to be announcing the winner of the Next Level Racing F-GT giveaway, but we are going to be, well, really quick, resetting the stream because we're experiencing some network issues just over here on my end. So give us a few moments, because before we jump into qualifying, we can get this addressed, and then we'll be off to racing action. And we're going to be announcing the winner of the Next Level Racing F-GT Light Cockpit throughout in the stream. Also, I'm going to get some clarification on when we'll be announcing that in just a few moments' time.
We are getting everyone readied up. It seems that everything is all in order. 20 drivers ready to tackle the 10 turns that makes up the Red Bull Ring. And it has been, exciting last week. Obviously, we had the very, very dynamic weather there. This week, the weather forecast not quite so crazy. A little bit more, sedate and a little bit calmer in terms of the weather that we'll have above the Red Bull Ring. But that means that there's more overtaking opportunities. We had, a little bit of a conversation with some of the drivers before the race. Rain just makes it a lot harder to overtake. Makes it more of a track positioning game. In the dry, though, that opens up the DRS zones. And here we are. We are in, and we've got 20 drivers there on the left-hand side. And like you said, Jeff, there's a lot of people returning, including last week's race winner, Mr. Some Idiot, going by the name Lawrence today.
Well, he's actually going by his real name. Cody Lawrence today. K Lawrence on the grid. He mentioned he might start driving under his appropriate name, potentially shelving his alias as we've known him for years at this point as Some Idiot. I don't know if it's confirmed, but there we have it. So our previous race winner, in the Racing Point as well. And I do know that he favors that car.
Yeah, and also, it's a little bit more flattering for him as well. He's been going under the name Some Idiot for some time. And, his race strategies have proven to be quite the opposite of that. Tuptus first to lead the pit lane in the Renault. His teammate for the evening, Yankee Soul, there, not too far behind with the Alfa Romeo of Vincent there as well. And if I'm not mistaken, he took a podium last week. Third place for him after Ben the Bear had some unfortunate controller issues. He was set to take, the podium, but never made it to the last 3 laps, and didn't make it to the APAC season finale either. And we haven't had a week of racing this week, so a little bit out of practice, you and I, in comparison to what we would usually do coming into a week off of races. But the off season,
are we ever out of practice around Austria? Are we truly ever?
That's a good point, to be honest. It's second nature. I wonder if I just start mumbling about Austria in my sleep. We've done so many, but we do have Tuptus lining up for his first run around the Red Bull Ring, coming through the penultimate corner. And here we go. He's going to hammer it down out of turn 10 to start it off. DRS open and across the line to start then in the Renault. You can see they're already cars slowing down to get it all done for the space between them. But through turn 1, using all of the exit curb, just about keeping it within the white lines. Now running up the hill through the almost invisible turn 2. Then, well, you'd expect them to use a little bit more curving on the outside, but gets it on the apex through 3. And again, not using too much curving on the exit. DRS open once more then for the Renault as he swings down the long DRS straight. all the way towards turn 4. A brilliant overtaking spot here. The Renault again hitting the apex, using a little bit of the exit curbing there. Coming through 5, getting it ready for turn 6. Again, just swing it out, using all of the exit curbing. Not invalidating the lap though. Very much clean through there, using a bit of the inside curbing. Almost unsettled the car. Gets it through 7 and 8 though, no issues. Into the penultimate corner, turn 9, hitting the apex, using the exit curbing through the final corner. A little bit wide, and that's going to cost him on the exit. Invalidates his first run, and it was a 103 flat, but very, very unfortunate for him. Vincent, he's invalidated as well. Yags, what's he done? He's invalidated too. There are invalidations left, right, and center here. That's Max O'Connor crossing to start his line. Remco Van Putten, he's invalidated. There we go. We've got a time on the board. It's a Yasko 103.3. 3.5 tenths slower than what we did see out of the Renault of Tuptus. There's Linus, a 113.3. Not an impressive time at all from the Haas. He'll looking to improve. Mikkel, a 103 flat. There we are. And the AlphaTauri, the APAC division runner-up. The Australian stamping his mark down, but it's Larsen who is the first to go into the 102s. A 102.975 there.
Mikkel, we spoke to him earlier, and which is shocking considering how early it is over there in Australia, but not thrilled about his last run here. He was not happy. So we'll see what he's able to do. A good run here, a 103.039. I think he already did some driving earlier today as well, so we'll see what he's got to put down here long term in the Red Bull Ring for this 100% distance campaign. Of course, we have a variety of drivers with invalidations. We've seen a variety of them do the invalidating on this exit curbing. I'm on with Max O'Connor right now, and he is invalid, beginning another run.
Yeah, we just seen Ford invalidate his lap as well. Max O'Connor, a little bit of a toe there from the Ferrari of Ben, and I'll be a bit thankful for that. Speaking of Ben's, we got 2 on the grid. Ben the Bear, he's out for a bit of a redemption drive as well after last week. Excellent drive all throughout, and then, well, controller issues struck. Put him out of the lobby. He's having a few connection issues here. He's actually not in the session right now, I do believe. He's just waiting for his internet to come back online.
Speaking of invalidations, we were talking of them. Cody, he unfortunately invalidated in that Racing Point. Liam, his teammate for the evening, has just begun. Mark in the McLaren, another invalidation on this grid here early on in quali. We are now a third of the way through, hitting that 12-minute mark in just a few moments' time. We might have a little bit of desync, but of course, 18 minutes these drivers have to get their best run in, and then it's off to the 100% distance campaign.
A long race, you know, it's a short track, but that translates to a lot of laps, and you know that brings into question. We haven't seen the full 100% distance strategy, you know, for a while. Yeah, I was gonna say in this game, but we have seen it in this game. There's Ben the Bear rejoining the lobby. Liam, sorry, making full use of the inside curve at turn 7, not invalidating though in the Racing Point, keeping it nice and tidy through there. As he swings through into the last corner, using one of the exit curbing, but not invalidating it, not stepping all 4 wheels outside that white line in P5 right now. A 103.2, only 8 times set so far, Striff. A little bit low in terms of numbers. We're about 6 minutes into the session.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. I think that a good chunk of this grid's struggling on their opening run here. Remco Van Putten, the Dutchman, he goes pole position, in the Red Bull. A 102.964, a solid run for him. Vincent Nyquist on the move into turn 3.
Yeah, and here's a man that, you know, we've seen be successful around here. There's Vexit, a 102.6. That is a much improved time over anything else we've had in this session. The Williams, 3.5 tenths clear of Remco Van Putten and Larsen, who are on very, very similar times. About 100th separates those two. But only 3 drivers.
Oh, Domi, excuse me for the interruption, has had a major issue in the Williams on his exit of turn 1. He's on the medium compound tires, and that was a big spill for him. Major damage on that front end.
Yeah, for Terry there, Mickey had to just go completely wide at the final corner to get out of Vincent's way, and Vincent, I don't think it slowed him down, but a 102.9, even if it did, it's still a lap he can be very happy with. Puts in P2 behind Vexit. And Vexit last time out was dead last. He didn't finish the race. So again, another driver here hasn't had the best of luck at Austria so far. So have been looking to improve.
P3. Jean, a 102.835 in the Alfa Romeo. A very nice run out of him. And we'll see, of course, what the rest of this grid can do, as Ben the Bear is on a charge, as is Jake. Jake, the first of the two Mercedes, mentioned to set a flyer here. We're coming into the final turn. The Swedish driver now. Good for P8. It's a 103.001. Behind him, Jesper. It's a 102.8 in the Haas.
A very, very nice time there by Jesper. And Ben the Bear, well, he's a man you can always trust to put in an excellent lap. We'll see whether he's got enough here. On what is his first lap of the session, given his connection problems? So a 102.6 to beat. Has he got that in his locker on the banker lap time? If anyone does, it will be Ben the Bear. The speed through the final corner. He drops the lap though. And even dropping, it's only a 104. he would have been on for a monster time there.
Yeah, he dumped a ton of time at the line, and, well, that kind of keeps us in the dark as well. Ben, a very tricky driver. He likes to present himself. We've talked about it before, especially, I mean, I'm sure you've talked about it in the APAC, but we talked about it in the club division. He likes to present himself with challenges. Now, in the McLaren, through the final turn, we won't lap from him. He just stepped a toe wrong, George, and there it goes, another invalidation.
Yeah, Ben, it's not just about challenges either. Here, he's got the opportunity, I think. He's seen it. He's had time here to reflect on what everyone else is doing. It's a short track. He's got options in terms of more runs. There goes Max O'Connor very wide through the final corner. That's an invalidation every day of the week. But going back to Ben the Bear, he has got, every opportunity here to just get onto a set of mediums and see where it lands him. Because right now, with the pace he was showing on that first lap, the pace we saw last week, he can, get himself into a nice grid position on that harder compound tire. It will last longer, and in a 100% distance race, it's much more, critical thinking about the strategy long term. It's not just, every track's a one stop pretty much, give or take one or two, but Remco not happy with his lap, and, well, he's only 8th place right now. He'll be wanting to find some improvement. He is the better of the two Red Bulls at the moment. Everyone, though, struggling a little bit, Chef. No one seems particularly comfortable right now.
I agree with you. I think everyone has been maybe taking a week off, have that same preparation coming into this week's race as maybe they had last week because we rounded off Abu Dhabi. Now we have, of course, this week, not as much racing potentially for some of these drivers taking place. We come through here. Maybe some of these guys, they're getting warm. We talk about that Domi. He's on another run now. He's on the medium compound tires again. That's the same set we saw him out on earlier. Now, another driver who could be getting warm, Cody Lawrence there in the Racing Point. He's driven repeated laps on these softs. Just getting a sense. 6 minutes remaining here in the quali.
Yeah, absolutely. And just, again, like you say, drivers as Vexit on 102.393 coming out of the Williams. So it's a new fastest lap of the session. Tuptus is back out as well on 102.7 for him right now in P2. Domi, we'll see what he's got to bring to the table on the mediums, though. He's rounding the final corner now. I think that was Yasko. It was popping into P5. Domi invalidates through the final corner. He'll be disappointed with that one. Back up then to Tuptus, who is up on his previous time. Not by much and not by enough to dethrone the Williams, but we'll see what he can find in the final sector as he comes through out of Sector 2. Nothing too much there.
Linus. He gets out of the way. Ben off to the side.
102.712. That's his current time. He's got 4 tenths to find if he wants that provisional pole. He finds 2. So 102.5 still a little way off of exit, 1.5 tenths, give or take, but just gives himself a bit more breathing room to the car behind. That's Remco Van Putten, who's slotted himself into 3rd place. And there goes the other Renault Yaxiol P3 at 102.722. Slots himself ahead of the Dutchman. Ben the Bear, well, let's see what he's got. It's a 104.2 on the board for him on the mediums. He is flying again, though, it would seem. I expect a little bit more from him, to be honest, in terms of pace. It's the mediums. He doesn't want to be out for too long, though, because if he does need to set a soft run, well, he does have time for it, but he doesn't have a lot of time as he comes through. What's the split time coming out of Sector 2? And it's down by half a second.
Yeah.
So he's racing really to the pits. Off here. That's what he's doing.
He's either racing to the pits or he's just getting himself a little bit of a warm-up here.
He's going again.
Yeah, he's not coming in. Very interesting to see. Very interesting to see from him. Wait. He's still improved by an entire second.
Well, Sector 2, not exactly what we wanted.
Well,
but
we saw him dump a ton, right? So this is the thing. He comes through. He's trying to get himself midfield, maybe starting on mediums, hards. I don't know. What a tricky driver. He lets Ben through in the Ferrari. He's on a flyer.
Yeah, Jasper as well, just hopping into P3. And Mark already dropping his lap. Remco Van Putten calling it in the pit lane. He is done with the session.
Remco really hasn't had any results lately, like we knew him to have in I think endurance races past, and I like to poke fun at Remco. He's a very quick driver. We've seen him many a time. Ben, 102.803 was his run for this session, and P6 in the Ferrari.
Yeah, this season has not been Remco's season. You know, you look at APAC, not bad over there, you know, P4, but that wasn't without its troubles as well. You know, my mind wanders to the likes of Silverstone, struggled there. Here in the endurance as well, like you mentioned, hasn't had great luck here either because, well, the 5 races he attended, he's only scored points in one of those. That was China, he got P7. Last time out, it was France for him, 18th place. Before that, Spain, 13th. Before that, Vietnam, he came dead last, 20th. So it has not been the season for him. But can he find something tonight? He's P5 right now. Points on the table. That's better than any of the finishes he's had so far this season.
Linus on an invalid run. I think he may be beginning another lap here in the Haas. No, he's stopped. He let Ben through. Ben moves up to 12th position. He's right on the rear of his teammate. 3 milliseconds is the separation.
Yeah, very, very close there between the two Mercedes and Ben. He does love that car. He always wants to be in the fastest car. Domi right now in quite the opposite, the Williams car. You know, maybe not this season, but last season in particular, definitely. Slowest car on that grid. He has not set a lap time yet. Here he comes, though, on a slightly used set of mediums through the final corner. George Russell got himself into the top 10 earlier today. Can Domi do the same? No, he can't. 17th for the Hungarian. It's not where he wants to be.
Oh, repeated laps on those tires. It's struggles for the Williams here. We saw him with the spill out of turn 1. We saw him invalidate his second run. We saw him struggle, and he's pushing again. He found a minor improvement through that first sector as well. Not a minor, a 10th.
Here comes Cody Lawrence as he's going by today through the final corner. A bit of a slide, and I think that might just be old tyres playing a bit of a role there. He actually sets the time though, 0.754, and he's not far off a four-door sedan's time. It might not be where you expect him to be, but given that he's on 10-lap odds, you can sort of forgive him for that. Mikhail, I think, just crossed the line, put himself into P8 there. The Australian in the points. That's where he wants to finish today.
Domi, the Hungarian, sitting and playing in the sandbox right now.
Just not having the best of luck. We have got, though, fast laps coming out of drivers. You got Vexit, Tuptus, a 102.377 strip. Huge time from Tuptus there. Vexit on the move. Jesper, he's on a pretty hot lap here. Over 2/10 up just through the first two sectors. We see a lot of drivers find time through the final sector. What's he got in the final two corners? Through turn 9, a little bit wide though, and there it is. Oof. There's the invalidation. He won't have time to set, another one. Vexit's down a little bit out of the first sector. He's on slightly used tires as well, so if he does go faster here, which he very well could do, it might not be worth it, but there's such a small margin between him and Tuptus. That P1 could be very tasty.
He's found that margin as it stands coming through Sector 2. This is everything. This is everything for pole position. The Williams, the final turn, pushing. He gets him. He improves half a tenth to capture pole position. Tuptus has nothing to say about it as he does not have time to say anything about it.
Yeah, and that's qualifying. Ben just slowed himself up into P6 before that ended. But Vexit, a 102.339 in the dying stages, just slots himself there ahead of the German in the Renault. It's been a great evening so far for him, though. We'll see whether he can continue that form.
Last corner, presenting a lot of troubles for these drivers. We saw multiple invalidations, of course, through qualifying. And I have a feeling that start to stir penalties, and we saw it last week.
And it's a 100% race. You've got a long time to pick up the penalties here. So when you've got that, with the threat that people seem to be struggling already today, it's not the hardest track to avoid the penalties at. We've seen a couple of people go penalty free throughout the whole thing, and it plays a huge role. But at the same time, if you're just pushing for those fast laps, you can just stray over those white lines a little bit, and well, that's how we've seen it there in qualifying. Hopefully we see it a little bit less in the race when everyone's just settled in, but it's Vexit on pole, just 400ths ahead of Tuptus, who sits 3/10 clear of Jesper there in P3, who invalidated his last run. He could have been P2, he could have got himself on that front row. We won't know though. Jean in P4. Yaxio in the other Renault in the top 5 in 5th place. Ben 6th. Remco Van Putten in 7th. Vincent in 8th. Mikhail in 9th. And Jasko rounds out the top 10 here in qualifying. Everyone else will have free tyre choice, of course, having qualified outside the top 10. But that was a pretty action-packed qualifying. We'll see.
And we are now, into action once again here for a formation lap and a very, very serious campaign of racing around the Red Bull Ring.
Yeah, fingers crossed. It's smooth sailing from here on out on the lobby side of things, because obviously we don't want issues like that again. We've never seen that one before. It's a little bit bizarre that we find a new bug so close to the end of a game's life cycle, but here we are finding new things about this. There it is, the list of all 20 drivers here who are tackling the Red Bull Ring. It's going to be a long one for those drivers. It's a short lap, but there's plenty of them. 71, I do believe, here.
Well, it's a very, very intense race today. And of course, on the heels of a very intense, well, it was intense at the beginning, football match. And, well, you have anything to say, George?
What on the match we just watched? I'm very happy for what happened there, but let's hope that we get something quite as exciting here, and that it's not quite a landslide victory as it was for England moments ago for whoever it is who comes away P1 at the end of this. But 8 seconds on the clock. We're back to racing action. Obviously, the formation lap will have to take place once more. And fingers crossed,
For our dear
everyone makes
friends
it to
in
the
the
grid.
chat, I do believe what he was trying to get across in the basic translation is that it's coming home.
It is indeed. It's coming home, ladies and gentlemen. But once more, we are back in Austria for a formation lap. All 20 drivers on the grid with the tyres that they started on last time as well. Obviously, they'll all be a little bit fresh, and we saw some people, Striff, go for a fair few number of laps on their tyres. Theirs won't be worn anymore, so a few people will be quite thankful for this restart, I would imagine. We'll see if that plays any, role in the start. Obviously, we won't know because we haven't had a race start yet, so all of that wiped clean from the slate. We've got Vexit ahead of Tuptus, Jesper, Jean, Yaxiol, Ben, Remco, Vincent, Mikau, Yasko, your top 10. Then the medium runners, Larsen, Jake, Ben the Bear, the two Mercedes there. Liam in 14th. Four-door sedan, he starts 15th, but he's on the soft compound tyres. One of two drivers outside the top 10 to do so. Max O'Connor, Linus, Domi, Cody Lawrence, they're all on the mediums from 16th through 19th. And then Mark in the McLaren starts on the softs, down in 20th position. So, here we are, once again. Fingers crossed everyone finds their way to the grid this time. It didn't quite happen last time, but so far so good it would seem. For all the drivers, Vexit getting ready to take his pole position ahead of Tuptus. Jesper as well there in the Haas, poised for what he will hope is a good run down into turn 1. Vexit, he needs to make sure that Tuptus doesn't get a run on the inside, but we do have all cars through the final corner. Everyone's here on the grid, and when it's about time, then we go racing in Austria.
This is what we were waiting for this time. We do not have a Ferrari stationary. And, well, here we go. Unicorn, take us away. Austria is about to get, well, intense.
Well, there's 5 red lights. As always, a little bit of desync between us and the drivers, but it is lights out, and away we go, and it seems like a good start for Vexit. He's already closing in on Tuptus, but he's got a better start in that Renault. Has to back out through into turn 1. A little bit of contact between the Alfa Romeo, Jean and Jesper. Nothing too major, though. Remco Van Putten already getting past Ben there in the Ferrari. Nice move from the Dutchman. Mikau, he's down to Yasko as they all fire themselves into turn 3. Jean on the inside of Yaxiol looking for 4th place, and he finds it. Gets a good drive out of the corner as well. Yasko still side by side here with Mikau defending that P9 that he took at the start. Can he hold it? Down into turn 4. It's the Australian around the outside. Later on the brakes, Yasko, though, comes off them quicker, holds that P9 in the Red Bull, and it's a good start all around here. Everyone's still in it. There's a little bit of a tussle going on at the back. It's Mark side by side with Max O'Connor, who lunges on the inside of turn 6, and he holds on to 19th place, but he's down 3 places from where he started. Domi, Liam, they're exchanging. It's been a great start for the Hungarian. He is up, well, he was up 4 places, but Liam slots himself back into 14th where he started this race. And overall, a very good, clean, and exciting first lap strip here at Red Bull Ring.
Nobody is into the pit lane here on this opening lap, and that is a very clear-cut indicator, ladies and gentlemen, that we are off to a very intense showdown here around the Red Bull Ring. Of course, Vexit, Tuptus, Jesper in the top 3. The entirety of this train in formation. If you make a mistake, if you blink, you will drop down this order. So much exchanging, and everyone playing it very close to the chest right now. Cody Lawrence making moves, and of course we've got Ben the Bear on these mediums. He is the lead medium runner. When are we going to start to see him break through this field of soft runners ahead? We know he's got extreme pace. I want to see when he opens the door.
Well, he's already made 2 moves at the start of this one, dropping back a little bit, though, to Yasko. His teammate, well, he's dropping back quite substantially. He loses yet another position here to Liam there in the racing point. Nice move. Jean having a connection issue, it would seem. And he is, well, just the break in the chain already. We haven't even got DRS yet. We will have it this lap. Remco Van Putten looking up the inside of the Renault. Both drivers late on the brakes around the AI car, the Alfa Romeo. And it's a great move for Remco to get not one, but 2. Ben. Not Ben the Bear, but SMM, but he's facing the wrong way, and he's looking into the pit exit.
Well, one thing I can say, the front end of that car, it does not appear that he has any damage. Now, he did have to get that car rotated quite quick. He burned up the rears. Jean right now with that disconnection, we're trying to get him back into things right now. But of course, his AI will continue to drop positions as the Red Bull moves through.
You saw Mikhail slide through as well. Great run out of the exit of 3 despite being on the tighter inside line. But at that point, it's so hard to do anything when you're, he still hasn't got control of that car. And, well, he just drops behind Ben the Bear as he regains control. That will have unnerved the Thai driver as well. And it's also taken away our timing tower for the time being. But given this a short lap here at Austria, it's not too long until it comes back. Tuptus, he's in a great position to strike on Vexit for P1. And you don't need the timing tower just to see that this is a move that's already been brewing since the start of this one. And here goes the Renault DRS. A little bit of contact between the two. Later on the brakes for the Williams, trying to hold it around the outside. Tuptus, the German, a great exit, using a bit of ERS, using the DRS as well. But still, Vexit managing to hold on. There's been a bit of an impact behind. Jean is sideways through turn 3. And just trying to get out of the way, but doesn't manage to do it quite enough. Tuptus, Vexit still side by side. And it's Vexit holding on.
He is holding on very well right now. Tuptus really getting a sense of who he's dealing with. And Vexit, we saw him on the start of this race. He immediately got next to Tuptus. He got wheel to wheel with that Renault, and he said, listen, I'm going to lock you to this inside, and then I'm going to just blast around the outside of this first turn. Vexit, not shy. He is not afraid to get his elbows out and defend what is currently his, and that is the lead of this race.
The problem Vexit has there is he used a lot of battery to defend that position. He cannot keep that up for very long. We are seeing both McLarens into the pit lane. We're seeing Max O'Connor coming as well. I think that's wing damage picked up from, of course, that incident into turn 3. Remco Yagsio.
Cody. Oh, so much exchanging right now. Cody is about to two. Yagaswol and Remco exchange. Cody, very smooth operation for the Racing Point. However, he's deep and a little wide here. Domi to maybe push back through on the outside. Jake's been here with these guys. Jake wanting to catch back up to his teammate, moving into 11th position now, will have the lead of this trio. Cody not wanting to give it up too early here. Domi, well, everyone wants to move through this grid. Jake everyone on these medium compound tires. Jake, of course, the only driver with a penalty at the moment.
And we've already got a few trains forming. You got the top 3 right there. Yes, but just holding on to that battle between Vexit and Tuptus. We'll see whether the Renault has got a run this time into turn 3. The battery difference almost double for the Renault compared to the Williams. Then you've got the train behind P4 all the way down into P8. And that's, again, a Renault involved in that one. Vincent, does he have a move on Remco into turn 3? No, he doesn't. But he's just knocking on the Dutchman's door here. And already, just 6 laps in, we've got plenty of action to talk about.
With a lunge around the outside of Vexit. Does he get it? Vexit narrowly holding him to that outside. Tuptus, I think it was a bit of a late opportunity to try and take that move here. Cody and Jake can exchange into turn 4. Cody through into 11th position. On the rear of his teammate, 2.8, the gap.
And nice moves, really carving his way through this grid. Started 19th, already up to 11th. One here last week, starting on the harder combat tire, obviously the mediums here. Right now, we'll see whether that plays a factor. He always loves to toy around with the different tire strategies. It worked for him in France. Now, here goes Tuptus up the inside of turn 2 on Vexit. It doesn't really look like there's a corner there, but there is one. And he's made full advantage of it all the way past before turn 3. Vexit, can he get his way back, though, into turn 4? You sometimes see it here with the DRS zone switching around here into the favor of the Williams. Does he go for a lunge up the inside of the Renault? He's looking for it. Doesn't find it, though. Larsen, fastest lap on a fresh set of softs. Vexit loses the rear a little bit. Yes, but
Well,
not close enough to take advantage of that.
He's gonna be looking so carefully, Jesper, for these mistakes coming out of Exit now in the dirty area of Tuptus as he gets that move done. Exit, of course, not battery in his reserve at Tuptus. He also used a bit to try and get that move back into turn 4. Vincent as well. We've seen him hunting down the Dutchman. Remco van Putten holding on to 5th right now. Tuptus, a 106.691. The fastest lap of this campaign. Getting his elbows out now. Getting his legs stretched, if you will. Now that he is ahead.
Yeah, DRS, of course, aiding with that lap time. Here goes Vincent. Speaking of being aided by DRS, Remco's got it as well. But Vincent up the inside into turn 3. They're still side by side. The Red Bull there on the outside. Better exit as well for the Dutchman. But Vincent, he's looking for something here on the inside of 4. Hasn't got anything done through 3. Can he find anything here in the Alfa Romeo? Later on the brakes, much more alongside this time. Better exit as well. Remco van Putten forced wide there. And Mikkel, like you said, straight in on the inside. These two, they've come together multiple times, both on track and literally together in terms of car contact in an APAC. And now Mikkel, once again, putting his car ahead of Remco van Putten, who's got his teammate now barking up his gearbox.
Remco van Putten coming to find maybe right now that his tires a little bit worse off maybe than the rest of this grid. Maybe he didn't have the best management of them, having started on his qualifying set here. Mikkel, Vincent, 5 and 6 now. Jasko, of course, maybe some team orders. I don't think it's likely, but we are going to see a potential overtake here. Jasko on the inside as we tap through turn 2. And that's a clear-cut move for one of the Red Bulls to overtake the other.
I wonder if we see something similar here. Mikkel, once again, looking poised for an overtake. No DRS for the Alfa Romeo ahead. Domi, Lawrence, they exchange it once more. Mikkel not finding anything there. Jasko, Remco drops off the rear of his teammate. Jasko now have a great view of Mikkel and Vincent, who are side by side. Mikkel's looking for it around the outside of 6. Not really the most opportune overtaking spot, but he's got a lot more pace, it would seem. And then that Alfa Romeo, Vincent just a little bit struggling for pace, but let's see what he can do in the latest of the race.
Oh, he jumps into that pit entry line there. I thought maybe he was going to go for a super undercut of some capacity, but he gets back in. He just wanted to shake a bit of slip out of that Alpha Tauri. And now Mikkel with the DRS. Vincent, of course, he doesn't have that DRS on the driver ahead. We've got that brake. We have that separate. Mikkel now with a very good opportunity here. He doesn't even need to utilize the ERS that much. And, well, he can't figure out where Vincent wants to go. He can't figure out where he wants to go, and nothing doing. Just this is going to give him potential even better opportunity into turn, not overtake Vincent. Vincent giving him a very good squeeze here. Excuse me. Jasko on the rear of this. Mikkel on the outside. Vincent now.
Still contact.
Mick. Oh, there's a bit of contact.
Oh, and Remco once again. The two come together. We've seen it in an APAC.
That is such a collision. Oh my.
Is there more contact? Someone's wings just gone flying. I don't know if that's someone kicking up the debris there. But Mikkel will not be enthralled with that one. And Remco's into the pit lane too.
Very tight racing there. Very hard to tell what happened in the moment. I imagine both drivers, well, involved, very frustrated right now. Here, at the very least for my end here, Mikkel and Vincent, they got tangled up. And, well, given this of this, I'm not shocked that there was vision in that area.
Yeah, it's tough, you know, to see what happens there. Obviously, stewards will have a little look afterwards. You've got, obviously, like you say, Mikkel and Vincent coming together, and then Remco coming through at high speeds, just not able to get away from the car. And just slams into it. Luckily for either of them, neither one has retired from the race. Both still in it. And that means
major silver lining there.
Points available for them, but Remco, he's not too bad. 15th, still potential there. You know, you got everyone ahead still yet to pit, with the exception of Larsen in 14th. But he's on the soft, so he'll pit way before Remco does on those new mediums. But everything's sort of taken a little bit of time to cool off.
Well, I definitely think that there's a lot of opportunities in such a long campaign here. 71 laps, the duration of this campaign. Right now we're looking at Cody Lawrence at the very least. The racing point in that final point span. He's just closing the gap to Domi ahead, holding well as he can. Jake is there. A little bit of a train in it for this 9th position. A little bit more separation through ahead of them. But once these pit stops start to come through in this race, and they will start to come through fairly soon, well, it'll be a very, very interesting thing to see. Undercuts, potential overcut opportunities, traffic coming into play. The grid is not super separated, and once the pit stops come through, drivers need to do a little bit more thinking about the driver ahead, depending on where they're at in the grid. Braking points change as tires degrade. And we've seen many an incident come as a result of a driver not judging the braking of the driver ahead correctly.
Yeah, once you've got tire differential, obviously, it, you know, opens up just a little bit of overtaking. Here goes Jasko, a great run on Vincent up the inside into turn 3. And the Red Bull just swooping past. But
Might have
Vincent
gone a little
on
deep.
the switchback, though. Look at the Alfa Romeo there. Both using ERS, you would imagine. DRS, though, for the Alfa Romeo just pulls him ahead of the Red Bull. And Jasko will not be too thrilled about that. He took the position very nicely, but Vincent defended it even nicer and slots himself back up into P5.
It was a great move by Jasko.
Mikau, fastest lap of the race on those fresh tires. He's gone for the softs, unlike Remco, who went for the mediums. So just looking to bring himself back into this race a little bit.
Yeah, big axe to grind right now, Mick. Wanting to catch up with some of these drivers. Of course, a lot of this grid yet to pit. Using the quickest rubber might just pull him into some traffic where he can use that traffic to his advantage. Jasko on the rear of Vincent still. We saw him with that overtake into turn 3 last time around. I think he went a touch too deep. He wasn't able to get that car rotated in time. Vincent was able to get on the power very nicely. This time, Jasko not close enough to pull the trigger on, of course, the Alfa Romeo. This time, though, Ben on the rear of Jake. He's going to have a look into turn 3. Just on the inside now, Jake in the Mercedes defending on the outside. Ben through. Very nice rotation coming out of this Ferrari, is going to get the 11th position. Jake now with the DRS looking for that outside line into turn 4. Very good run DRS, however, no battery. He's on the outside. A little bit later on the brakes right now, holding well. Great traction on the mediums. Very good traction on the mediums, but of course Ben utilizing a little bit of that power. Jake, what a hold. What a hold here for Jake. Jasko and Vincent, nothing doing just yet for them. Ben and Jake still battling.
I think just ahead of them as well, you've got Cody and Domi there, switching positions once more. Cody up into P9 again, starting to break away as well. Yagzio, he's in P4 now. He's just had a disconnect, something that's been plaguing the lobby a fair bit. Here goes Jasko once more on the inside of Vincent. Does Vincent find a switchback again? No, he doesn't, because Jasko, is not letting him pass. And well,
he's trying to hold. He's trying to hold Jasko very tight right now. And look at this. Oh my, Vincent with a move, trying to overtake that AI-controlled Renault of Yags. Oh my, what an exchange we're seeing between these three now. And there goes Jasko and Vincent. They have made it through the traffic.
Well, Vincent there just holding himself against the Renault. He just did not want to let that AI impede him as much as possible, but he should have seen that coming a bit earlier than he did. But regardless, he's still behind Jake. He's just lost a lot of time, though. So, Jasko, I keep saying Jake there. Just because we're used to seeing him. But, to Jay's, Jake, he's down in 12th place. He's on the rear of Ben, who's on aging soft. So, there might be a move there for the Swedish driver, despite the fact that he's not fighting Vincent up for 5th. Ben the Bear gets past the disconnected Renault as well. He's up into 6th place. And it's been a great start to the race for him. And Well, he'll be looking for a bit of redemption after his controller. Well, it cost him last week.
A race.
Yeah, he's got the new one though. He wouldn't have won that race either, I don't think. I think he was on for P2 behind Mr. Cody Lawrence. He's ahead of him now. He's on the alternate tyre strategy, so everyone ahead of him. And well, does that pose him with maybe an upgrade on last week? Not only with a new controller, but with a race win as well. We've got 54 laps, or 55 laps to go, realistically, to find out.
Liam, his teammate Cody right now, just within that 7/10 range. Domi on the rear. Ben pushing with those softs as best he can to get himself over there. Max O'Connor and John exchange through turn 4. John, the medium compound tires working quite well for him. Max wanted to get a move back through, but there just wasn't enough traction for him, I think, compared to the Alfa Romeo. Vincent, speaking of Alfa Romeos, still with Yasko on the outside through turn 3. Yasko a little bit deeper into the turn, gets that car planted right in front of the Swedish driver. Vincent, however, with that DRS enabled, the rear wing wide open. Yasko looking for a switch as Vincent gets that car to the inside, but he is in to 4th position.
Yeah, very nice battle we're seeing between these two, and it is costing them not only to the cars in front, but to Ben the Bear. His tyres will start to feel a lot nicer than the softs on the cars in front. He's just outside, just under 2 seconds. He's just gained 2/10 through there alone. And this is great pace from Ben the Bear. He is not a slow driver by any means, and as such, he is going to catch quickly, regardless of whether you're fighting or not. And these two going, tooth and nail with one another is just going to cost them time to the Thai driver behind. Not only that, but the cars behind Ben, well, they're getting stuck now behind the AI car of Yaxion, who's still yet to reconnect to the lobby. Here goes Liam around the outside of him. And, well, easy as you like there on the AI-controlled car. But let's hop back up to the battle between Vincent and Yasko there for P4. Well, actually, we'll go one higher. We'll go to Tuptus and Vexit, who exchange for the lead once more. And Jesper still on that in 3rd. And then there's been a tough race for these guys at the top. They've been working together pretty seamlessly so far.
Sorry about that. I had a technical issue here on my end. Just trying to get that sorted.
Vincent's starting to pull away a little bit from Yasko, and this is what he needs to do. Sort of feed Yasko to the Sharks, and the Sharks in this case, well, it's more of a bear. Going by the name of Ben, who is really hunting them down now. Linus, Larsen, they're side by side. Larsen up the inside through turn 6. And that is a very nicely done move from the McLaren on softs. They didn't start the race on, but had to switch them after an early incident. Yaxiol dropping again here to Ben, still trying to get it out of Yasko. Late move for him in the Red Bull. It might be a bit too late on Vincent, who's going to squeeze him to the outside, show him as little room as he can get away with. Plenty of room, though, still for the Red Bull to get an exit, to try and construct a move down into turn 4. The two racing points behind. They're exchanging side by side. Yasko, does he go for a lunge? No, he doesn't, but Vincent locks up. Does that give the Red Bull driver the opportunity? No, he slides through the corner. And as such, won't get the position yet. The two racing points, they don't exchange either. Liam still ahead here. He does have the penalty, though. And Cody,
Close.
well, it's been a great race so far for him, and it's a great race last week for him. So he's a threatening driver to have in your rearview mirror, Striff.
Oh, yeah. Big time. Very, very threatening driver to have in your rearview mirror here. And they had a very close encounter coming through turn 4. But, of course, it was Liam that had the better of that exchange as Yasko has come in. Yasko pulling the plug here, coming into the pit lane, looking for a potential undercut on the soft runners ahead. He's going to jump onto a set of softs. So, very interesting tire choice out of here. I thought maybe it would have been a set of mediums, maybe soft, medium, medium to the end of this race. But it's going to be another set of softs, and we'll see what he's got up his sleeve.
Yeah, it's going to be, a fight of strategies as much as it is just on raw pace, and it's always what you see in these endurance series. There's a different style of strategy. Obviously, all of the tires, they last a lot longer here than they do in a traditional 50% race. Here goes Cody on the inside of his teammate. Doesn't find the move though, Liam. A great defense for that P6 that it is now as Yasko on the fresh offs breezes past Yaxiel there, who has just rejoined the lobby right on cue. So good to have the Renault back in control of that car. He has dropped off quite significantly though from where he was when he was previously in this race. Vincent, he comes into the pit lane as well, so he's going to get off his starting softs. Does he go for the softs just as Yasko did a lap prior to him? Well, we'll just have to wait and see what the Alfa Romeo crew has in store. Tuptus Vexit side by side through turn 3 once more. And it's Vexit ahead right now as they go into the DRS zone. It will be the Renault whose rear wing pops open. Although neither driver appears to have DRS, which is bizarre.
Oh,
and he looks on the outside. A switchback so here. Doesn't quite find it. And the Renault will have to settle for P2 at the moment. The racing points, though. Cody Lawrence finally finds his way past Liam, his teammate, and there's been an incident behind. It would seem there is Jake pointing in the wrong direction, getting his Mercedes spun around.
Not entirely sure what's happened to Jake here. Very interesting exchange as I didn't have a view of it. Vincent and Yasko. Well, the battle continues. The battle wages on. Yasko had that undercut. Vincent comes out on the medium compound tires. Yasko on the outside, holding everything he can with the Swedish driver on the inside now. The Alfa Romeo, look at the Red Bull. Look at the speed. The Charging Bull now here around the Red Bull ring is going to push through ahead of the Alfa Romeo very nicely. He's got these softs. He needs to do what he can with them. He can't be fighting. He needs to pull away, and Vincent, well, he's got other plans.
Yeah, you don't want to get caught fighting someone who's on the slower compound of tyre, but that's exactly what is happening here to Yasko, and this is great news for Vincent. You know, pull him in, keep him there, and a track as short as this with DRS as powerful as it is. Very, very possible for him. And here he goes around the outside of Yasko. Yasko later on the brakes, closer off. Does Vincent get the run? He probably won't, and he doesn't. You can see there the benefit of the tyres. Once again, the two racing points, they're going to switch positions. It's Cody back up into P5 again. Liam still struggling to stay ahead there. Vincent, Yasko again, side by side. This time it's coming out of turn 4, coming through 5. Yasko stays ahead, but he's got Vincent on his inside into 6, and here goes the young Swede, and he just isn't able to hold on. His mediums are not affording him the traction, but they will afford him the lifetime. They will last a lot longer than Yasko's softs, and Yasko's softs will be dying quicker as a result of this very, very intense battle with the Alfa Romeo driver.
This is a beautiful battle. They're really leaving a lot of respect on track right now. It's very tight, very intense. Yasko right now prevailing with a bit of better rubber. Was prevailing as we came in here. He wanted that undercut, and Vincent 1 lap fresher rubber, the longer running rubber. And here we go now, another move for the Swedish driver up the inside of turn 3, wanting to hold everything he can here on the outside with Yasko just charging with that battery. What a absolute battle. What an absolute duel. Vincent, neither driver with the DRS as we come into turn 4. Vincent on the inside, a bit of a snap. Yasko holds it in 8th.
Yeah, I don't know if we've got some sort of problem with the DRS. No one seems to have it at any point in the race. So, I don't know. This is just a visual error that we've got on our part. But, well, here we go. Here's Liam. He does appear to have DRS. So, it is still working in the lobby. But just here and there, the front 3, they did pit in. Where do they come out with the medium starters? Cody, well, he's just on the rear of Jesper here. He needs to stay within DRS. So he has a hope of sticking with the runners on the podium right now. He will get DRS on the Haas, but the Haas won't get DRS on the cars in front. So that is going to be a huge problem for his race, as Tuptus and Vexit will continue their battle for what is net P1. Ben the Bear, the only driver still ahead there. Yasko, Vincent still side by side here. And there you go on the inside for the Alfa Romeo, the Red Bull around the outside. And this time it looks like Vincent might just be able to hold on. He's going to take it around the outside of 6. It is the more favorable line, but he hasn't got the tires to hold on. And Yasko gets his way back past. Vincent steps across the white line as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if he got a warning there too.
These guys are just putting it out there. They're going so hard one another, Yasko and Vincent. No follow the lead between these two. Not even remotely, not even for a lap. Everybody wants a piece. We've got an issue. Who's this? Four-door sedan has appeared to have struck a yellow.
Oh, here goes Tuptus and Vex it. Tuptus around the outside. Doesn't find it though, and I think he was just letting marked cars by the Ferrari. Domi up the inside of Liam there. Nicely done.
Yags another here as the Renault and Williams can battle. Oh, it's so intense in this race, and it's what you love to see.
Vincent very late on the brakes, almost tapped the rear edge Jasko there. And this has been intense as well, Striff. It's been a very, very exciting start to this race, and when you've got, you know, plenty of it still to come. We're about a third of the way through, just over. And we've only just started to see the pit stops coming through.
Jake on the rear of Larsen. Half a second here. Larsen on those fresher softs, of course. Jake has really kind of been running in this 11th position for a good chunk of this race as the timing tower has reset itself. Vexit, Tuptus, they're having their battle, of course. Turn 4, Vexit on the rear for position. Cody not close enough now to Jesper to have that DRS. Domi on the rear of him.
Tuptus just breezed by this, Striff, and it was a very easy looking move for him. Still got Vincent and Jasko going at it, and there's Yaxiel just bringing his car and his race to a close there. Unfortunate to see him retire early, but internet issues forcing his hand there. Linus, Mikau side by side, and Mikau looking around the outside on the softs. They're fresher. They are softs though, so they would die out a bit quicker, and well, the game camera just tearing us away from the fight, but it was a done and dusted move for the Australian.
Linus, he put up a touch of a defense there. He held very, very well and long on that inside. He pushed Mikau to extend, but there just wasn't enough grip to fight there for the Haas driver. Larsen into the pit lane. Jake now into that final points paying position. There's been a yellow, and that's of course the retired car coming out of the pit lane of Yags, and it's just pulled off to the right hand side of turn 2.
Almost caused a bit of a problem for Jasko and Vincent, who are still toe-to-toe. Jasko blinking on the rear there with the ERS. Vincent not looking too hot in the battery department either. Jasko defends successfully again, though. Just holding Vincent at bay, but they are just costing themselves time to every other driver here. The cars ahead, the cars behind, the cars on the pit strategy. So either way you look at it, it is not a good situation for either of these drivers to be in. The front three now are miles up the road in comparison. We're talking, you know, almost 10 seconds, Striff, and well, that's, at this stage of the race, is a substantial lead. The only one more comfortable than that, probably Ben the Bear, 4 seconds ahead of drivers who have already made their pit stops.
Well, he likes to give himself challenges, and he certainly gave himself a challenge starting on these medium compound tires and pushing his way ahead of this grid. He's got 3.8 seconds to the drivers behind. Right behind Tuptus, you know, and this is something great for Ben, is that Tuptus and Vexit, well, they're fighting. They've been going back and forth. This is going to really give Ben an opportunity, maybe in the long run. We're on lap 28, and now we've got a retirement. That's our second retirement of the race. That'll be four-door in the Ferrari. Ben the Bear is actually on his way into the pit lane, speak of the race leader. And now the Mercedes will be getting onto some fresh rubber.
And we'll see whether the likes of Cody, Domi, Liam follow suit with this one. It's going to be softs, though, for the Thai driver. And we'll see where he hops out here. The other drivers on the same strategy, not coming into the pit lane. You can see them side by side there. Is that Jasko and Liam? It was. Jasko there, getting past the racing point. Ben the Bear in 9th. He's behind all this. But Vincent now has a car between him and Jasko. And with Yasko on the faster tires, can the Red Bull use this time? Oh, he can, because Vincent's gone right into the rear of Liam, who's gone into the rear of Yasko. Yasko getting away unscathed.
Safety car.
It's not even a VSC strip.
Oh my.
That is
nothing.
A tough pill to swallow for the Racing Point. Really did nothing wrong there. And Vincent just misjudged it. Gets away with it as well in terms of damage. He will have to replace the front wing, but it's nowhere near as bad as what Liam's got. Ben the Bear, well, this is going to be a few easy positions for him. He's going to come past the inside. Vincent needs to make sure he gets out of the little way here because he's trying to get into the pit lane. But he's got to let Ben have that space and respect that move there. But my goodness, that's a surprising end to the battle between Yasko and Vincent there. Ben the Bear up the inside. Easy as you like. 9-lap fresher softs there compared to Yasko. And there goes Ben the Bear up into 6th place. He is now hunting Domi, his first look of prey. The Hungarian, 29-lap all mediums. I doubt we'll even see this on track as an overtake because...
No, I don't think we will. I think it's going to be...
a pit lane
it's going to
affair.
be a tire... Yeah, it's going to be a tire change soon here for these medium starters.
Well, we might see it on track. The front 3 strip.
Top Tuss exit.
Well, here goes Ben, the other Ben, and we've got on the grid today on the outside of Remco Van Putten, and he's trying to find a move around the outside of the Red Bull. The Ferrari has squeezed through on the inside of 6. He's still there, and Remco Van Putten, a driver who loves to get his elbows out and defend, is doing so here. Is it enough? He picks up a 3-second time penalty to do so. They're both really hammering it down this straight into the penultimate corner. Remco's still on the inside there. Forces Ben off the track, not giving him an inch of space. And Mikkel's watching all of this. Mikkel getting a little bit loose out of the final corner. Remco holds on to P9. I don't know why he's fighting this as hard as he is. He always likes to fight everything with as much power as he's got, but this is just a futile battle. You got 12-lap older tires. He's going to be burning resources as well to hold him off like he is, but like you say, Remco is Remco Van Putten, and Remco Van Putten does not let anyone by easily. And well, look at that. I don't know if that was a misstep or not, because if that was deliberate, that was a bit rough from Remco. Just forcing Ben, closing off the inside very, very harshly there. But Remco Van Putten stays ahead, and Mikkel, like you say, slots through.
Mikkel very, very, very happy to get a position ahead of Ben there. Ben, he had to take his time to get that car off that right-hand grass, because if he didn't take his time, that car was just snap on him. And there's a ton of time on this battle. He was looking at Remco. Remco cost him a position. And this is just wild racing that we're seeing unfold here at the 32 lap mark. We're very close to the announcement, of course, and the draw of the next level racing F-GT Light Racing cockpit. So of course, be sure to be here around lap 36 as I begin to get myself situated for that draw. Limo, and we're gonna announce a new cockpit owner here in a few moments.
Well, everyone in chat poised and ready for that one. A little bit of competition between themselves, not just the one that we're watching here. Ford Sedan, well, he's out of this competition fairly early on here, coming across saying that he forgot to load a setup, and with lobby restarts, that kind of thing does tend to just slip the driver's mind. You're in the zone after qualifying. Unfortunate, but that's what's happened here. We said we weren't going to see it on track, but we are going to see it on track. Ben the Bear on the inside of Domi here, the Hungarian. Well, he knows there's not a lot he could do, but he's going to try to defend around the outside of turn 1. Jean picks up a 3-second time penalty. I thought that was for sure one of these guys. And Domi trying to defend that position, it's cost himself way more time than if he'd have done it. You know, just let Ben pass, go and attack Cody here. Cody now, well, he's got Ben the Bear hunting him down, and this is a position we should see on track as well. Jean into the pit lane. He picked up 3 seconds as well. But here we go, looking up the inside, not going to find anything there. Ben He's got pace, but he's not impatient. But Cody, a little bit of a slide coming out of turn 4 through 5, holds on. He's had to use a bit of ERS there to stay ahead of Ben just now to keep himself, you know, within a good bit of pace. Ben's going to have a look up the inside of 7. Not going to get it there either. He's patient, but he's got so much pace here, and he's being trapped behind the racing point. Here we go. The exit out of 8 is wonderful for Ben, and he breezes past the racing point into 9. Cody not going to come into the pits. This has been an opportunity for Domi to go for the undercut. It's not. So they are going long here. They are going for a bit of an alternate strategy. The Racing Point and the Williams. We'll see how that unfolds for them. Max O'Connor side by side with Mark here. Neither driver has had too much airtime today. Both have been, you know, struggling at the back. Mark slowest in qualifying. Max O'Connor on the fresher tyres, though. The soft as well. Looks around the outside of turn 4. Little bit of a wheel bang between the two. Wide for the AlphaTauri. Let's Mark hold on to that P17 for the time being. But a nice little battle here. Mostly clean. You know, just a little bit of squeezing here and there. A little bit of a wheel bang. But neither driver off too much. Can he find a run here? Well, someone who has found a run. Mikkel, Remco Van Putten, the two APAC rivals. They've already come together once in this race. They're going to come together again. And that lets Ben through. Remco Van Putten muscling in the AlphaTauri off a little bit. Again, getting his elbows out. And he's cost himself a position here to the Ferrari on the fresher mediums there. It's 22 laps for Remco. It's 10 laps for Ben in the Scuderia ahead. And Ben will be very happy that he got past these two drivers in one fell swoop. Back to the top 2. We haven't spoken about these two for a little while. They've gapped Jesper by quite a substantial amount. 2.2 seconds in the last 3 or so laps. And the Haas really falling off now that he doesn't have DRS. Vex it does, though. Just using this as an opportunity to hunt down Tuptus, farm a little bit of ERS. You can see that the battery is in favor of the Williams. We weren't saying that at the start of the race, but we are now. But they've got Ben the Bear catching, but he'll catch Jesper first. And, well, he might not even catch by the time they get to their second pit stops. But, well, who knows? It's Ben the Bear. He's got a lot of pace. And, well, he'll be pitting before these guys anyway, provided it all goes well for the medium runners.
Well, Unicorn, I'll tell you something. It is time. Tuptus, ladies and gentlemen, has just crossed us into the 36th lap of contention here for the Endurance Series Round 9. And that means it is time to draw a winner for the Next Level Racing Misfits Community Sim Racing giveaway for a Next Level Racing F-GT Lite cockpit. I have the window open. And all I have to do is click a couple of buttons, and we are going to find out who is going to be winning this racing rig. So if you are ready, let us know in the chat. Let us know it's time, giveaway time in the chat, and we will draw a winner for a racing cockpit from Next Level Racing.
And one lucky person gonna be the recipient of that one, and I'm sure it'll make their day ahead of the end of this race. Halfway through now for these drivers. And it's been intense for them, but it is time. As these guys lap, I do believe is Mark there in the McLaren. But the hype levels increasing in the chat. There goes Mark into the pit lane. This might be a retirement now that he has been lapped. And it is very unfortunate to see him go here. Max O'Connor, 3-second time penalty for him. He's now the last car on track, but he's on the rear of Linus there with fresher tyres as well.
All right. Just a few more moments. And we're going to click this and figure out, finally, after a few weeks of waiting, patiently, wait a little bit longer.
Striff loves the tension here. He's got it building.
I do. I love tension when it comes to giveaways and racing rigs. All right. It is time to draw a winner here. 1 out of 239. So if you're ever wondering if it's worth it to jump into one of these giveaways, well, 1 out of 239. You are going to be a very, very, very lucky racer to win this Next Level Racing GT Racing Cock. F-GT Lite. And the draw And who do we have? We have a winner. All right. We'll see if I can get an actual username here. Jesse McGrory. If you're here in the chat, Jesse, you've just won yourself a racing rig, my friend. And very, very, very excited to let you know that. McGrory, congratulations, you have just won the Misfits Community Racing giveaway in partnership with Next Level Racing for an F-GT Lite Racing Cockpit. And of course, touch with you very soon. And wow.
Well, fingers crossed we can find Jesse. A little bit like that at the end of the sentence, but obviously, hopefully they're in the Discord as well, if not here live in chat. But big congratulations to Jesse and commiserations to everyone else who entered. But, you know, you have to be in it to win it. And there it is for Jesse. So fingers crossed he enjoys that one. But, well, it's been, you know, a little bit of tension arising over the past 2 weeks. But we finally have a winner there.
Very, very exciting stuff. I'm super excited. Of course, we're going to have all of that information on the Twitter, and you can see the recording, of course, of the draw. Very, very, very good stuff there. Very good stuff. And thank you to everyone who participated. We're going to hopefully have more giveaways and great opportunities like this coming soon. And just a big shout out once again to our great partners, Next Level Racing, in supporting the sim racing community. They really do a ton for sim racers, and they make some great rigs at that as well. nextlevelracing.com, everybody. And well, back to the action. It's been a very intense race now. Things coming through to fruition for a lot of these racers, Unicorn.
And here goes
as
Ben.
The strategies begin to develop. Yeah, Ben on the move.
Like you were saying, strategies starting to develop. Well, these softs, they've been reeling in the front runners for quite some time for the Thai driver. And speaking of softs, well, Yasko getting himself through there, but it's pit stops as well for the drivers around him. So sort of a lesson the drama there on the overtake, but he is up into P6 now. He's looking to sort of follow a little bit with what Ben's doing. Ben just tearing away though from the Haas driver. Yes, but like I said, ever since he's dropped out of DRS of the top two, just seems a little bit, you know, less for pace than everyone else. Vincent on the inside of Remco Van Puyen, diving up the inside of turn 3. And what a lunge for the Swede there. The Dutchman, though, he's going to try and power his way back through. Domi's left the session. That's unfortunate. There's contact between Vincent and Remco. Both cars still in it. A little bit of weave for the Red Bull. And we're lucky that one didn't end worse than it did. But it could have ended badly for either or both drivers. But neither one in the wall, so they could keep driving. Remco, though, his tyres getting fairly old. And speaking of old tyres, well, Cody coming into the pit lane on 40-lap-old medium drift. What a stint for him. You imagine it's softs from here on out.
Well, it's been a very, very intense race, and strategy really coming. We're on the rear of Ben, 16 laps. There goes Cody. Yasko with an exchange as Yasko pushing into Yasko. Has Cody still with him, though. Quite a battle we're seeing unfold here.
Actually, Domi coming across in chat saying he's got PC problems, so that Williams might be driven by an AI for the rest of the foreseeable, unfortunately. And that is so unfortunate for the Hungarian. Down into 17th now. And it will drop like a stone in terms of time as well. Yasko is dropping back a bit here. They're both on equal tyres, but the Racing Point P5, and considering here Cody started in 19th, he has had a monster drive so far, and it looks like he's going to continue. Similarly to Ben the Bear, Vexit, Tuptus. They haven't done a lot of exchanging in the last few laps. Vexit is just biding his time. Tuptus isn't really being put under too much pressure, though. He seems to be comfortable in leader things here. You can see that the Haskar of Linus there. He's been lapped. Jake sets fastest lap of the race. As Ben and Vincent exchange. The Alfa Romeo past the Ferrari. The sister car, though, trying to come back on the inside down into turn 1. And, well, the game just decided to take us out there, and here we go side by side still, and it was turn 4 it would seem. It's Sean down in the earlier stages of the lap. Vincent, though, still ahead for P7. Vexit, is this the run he needs on Tuptus? It sure as hell looks like it. Very late on the pull out to the inside there. Just about avoided running into the rear of the German, but he does get past the Renault. He gets through into lead of things. And he's penalty free as well. The Renault behind. This is an excellent opportunity to have a quick look at the penalty situation as Domi rejoins. He's pretty far down as Ben the Bear will run on cue as we look at the penalties. Picks up his second of the evening. So he takes his total to 6 seconds. Tuptus on 3. 3 seconds for the likes of Yasko and Ben. Vincent on 6. 9 for Remco and Liam. Then 18 for Jean. Jake on 9. Lars has just got 3. So he might get a few at the end. In terms of positions, Maxik on a 12 as well as Linus there on 12 as well. And with Domi rejoining, we do have a little bit of a loss of timing time. And we're right at the start of the lap as well for Vexit, Tuptus and Ben. So we won't get their timing back for quite some time. Jake on the rear of Jean. Jean, 7 lap older tyres. Both on the softs though, and this being a 100% race, those softs do not die out as quickly. But still, they will be a little bit slower than the likes of this Mercedes. Here he comes in through turn 1. A lot of curb utilised by the Swede. DRS though, up as they climb through into turn 2 and up into turn 3 as well. Looks to the inside, late on the brakes. Is he going to be? No, it's not. It's going to be for the Alfa Romeo, who nails the corner. And Jean defending P11 brilliantly.
Yeah, some great racing right now. All over this group. And Jean, we have Remco, Ben, they're together right now as well with Vincent still.
It's a lot of battling. You know, we're just over the halfway stage in the race on lap 45 of 71. We're getting to the point where we'll start seeing, you know, 1, maybe 2 more pit stops at most for some of these drivers now. You know, when does Remco come in? Can he stretch those tires? He can take them, you know, at least 7 more laps because we saw Cody do it. And that would take him to lap 52. You anticipate, you know, 15 laps on the softs is no more than you really want to take them. Ben on that right now, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him come in soon. Maybe for one final set of mediums. Seems unlikely that you could get 20 laps out of a set of softs. Jesper's into the pit lane on 20 laps. On the mediums, sorry. So he is getting off of these very early. Maybe for a little bit of a quicker last stint. And he's going for soft. So he's going to try and take these for a huge stint. Maybe he's taking advantage of the gap behind. Knows he's not fighting the cars ahead. So wants to sort of be put on a similar strategy to Cody. And that does put him just ahead there of the racing point. Who's fending off Yasko a little bit. Yasko's stuck with him. But it's been a tough race for the Red Bull, who's very low on battery as well.
Cody right now just wanting to get himself into a great position here. We saw where he started this race. The strategies coming out of all these racers. Obviously, we're seeing a big differentiation in this race compared to last week. We saw a lot of rain. Now, Jake and John, they're having their exchange. Jake through on the inside into turn 3. A very neat move there, a tight move.
Yeah, nicely done here. Tuptus, he's getting revenge on Vexit. And this battle for P1 starting to unfold. Ben the Bear, 17 laps now. Linus spinning into the pit lane, speaking of tyres. But Ben, 17 laps on those softs. He's going to try and take it. You know, a little bit more. Try and get onto another set of softs, I think. And he should be able to do it from here on out.
This is very important. Very important.
Jesper's already on some fresh softs, so I wonder whether, you know, he's going to try and take it to the end or maybe do one more stop, you know, and just hope for the fresher softs on either side of the pit stop will help him out there. Vexit Tuptus, they're doing the dance, and again, it's just sort of an ERS management battle to the end. Bit of a problem. Jean again. He didn't have a great start to this race. He's flagged up a yellow here. Is there damage on the Alfa Romeo? The game not giving us the camera angle we want. There is. There is a huge portion of that front wing missing. And he will not be thrilled about that one. And there's another problem for the Alfa Romeos. Vincent Nyquist is doing I don't quite know what in his car.
Well, that car, I don't know what's going on with that car, but it's just sitting there. It's just sitting there right now.
I don't know if we can get a view from what the drivers are seeing of this, but they're swinging. You can just see him in the fence. It's so far away. He's stuck in the fence, but his car isn't retired. It's not terminally damaged. But I don't know whether that was him doing that or that was his car doing that, but it's still there in the fence, so it's not going to cause a problem if it is a retirement on track.
What the heck did we see?
That's an odd place to come off as well. But oh, he won't be too happy about that one. His teammate, well, he's going to take advantage of the chaos, getting under the yellow flag. No VSC spawning, but he would have been hoping for it. It's a very, very odd scenario there. We saw a Ferrari stationary before that corner. We've now seen an Alfa Romeo stationary, well, I'd say after the corner. Jesper now on the rear of Cody, and well, Jesper not too far up the road either, but he's on those fresh softs that he came in for not too long ago. There is Jean getting out of the way. Not been the best race for the Alfa Romeo either.
Mikau, Remco, we've seen these two do battle. They're doing battle again. Remco, Mikau. Mikau on the older rubber this time.
Well, the pit stop's coming through for the front runners now. They're going to take these tyres to the end. And Ben just 4.5 seconds down on the leaders, so he and Cody have done very well on this reverse strategy. There goes Ben into the pits as well. That promotes Jake to P7 behind Yasko, whose names I've confused more than once in this stream, but now they're close on track to add to the confusion. 21 seconds, though, between the two. As Yasko...
That's and Vexit. They're still so locked together here. 5 and 3 second time penalties for, of course, the pair of them. Ben the Bear is there. He's got fresh softs as well. 4.6 seconds is the separation there.
That's fastest lap for Vexit. A 105.281 for the Williams. DRS would have helped him get there. And now he's going to use it to help himself through. It's not going to get him into turn 3. Can he get him out of it into turn 4, though? Out of the corner. Can he get it? He's not got the run. He seems to be struggling a bit here. ERS, pretty similar as well. You imagine that's probably helped by the fact that Vexit would have used some for his fastest lap attempt there. Fresh softs at this end of the race, so... But this, the closest battle on track, and it is for leader things. Penalty is a little bit difference between the two, but it's only 2 seconds, so a good push at the end. We've seen it in real life from the likes of Lando Norris, possible there. Max O'Connor, well, he's got it quits in the pit lane, so 14th place there, so not last, but outside of the points, and calling it. But it is our long races, and getting to the end is tough, and it's proved too much for the AlphaTauri driver. His teammate Mikkel still in it.
Oh, here we go, Vexit.
Around the outside of 2. Oh, a lot
wow.
of contact on Toptus, but thankfully that Renault's still pointing in the right direction, and he might.
That's a great exit here. Toptus with a great exit here, but he just isn't pushing a ton to push Vexit. Not really applying a ton of pressure after that overtake. Liam Larson. Larson now. Larson looking for Liam into turn 1. Is it going to be a move here? Nope. Not yet.
Very close between the two then. The McLaren looking around the outside of turn 3, but it's not far enough alongside for him to get the move done through the corner. But the exit, look at this. What a drive from the McLaren. DRS will help him along to secure the move, but the exit out of turn 3 was near enough perfect. Vexit sets another fastest lap here, and he's trying to break that DRS to the car behind. Lap 53, it is all starting to go off. Jean, well, he comes the 6th car to retire in the pit lane. 2 Alfa Romeos out of this one in very, very small amount of laps.
It's just such an intense scene between these two all along. And you imagine what it must be like being in that position. You're on lap 53 out of 71. We haven't had any major issues resulting in a full safety car. These drivers have not had a lot of chance to drop their consistency, to drop their guard here. Toptus now, well, he's falling off of exit just a touch. He needs to maintain DRS here, and he has into turn 1. Absolutely crucial.
Well, Toptus, there's another 3 seconds too much on the opening inside curve of turn 1, and he drops out of DRS. DRS that he's currently got might just reel him back into that 1 second window. But my goodness, he is cutting a fine line here to Vexit. He does save himself, and he's got 1 more second of penalties as well. So Vexit right now, he's burnt all of his battery off though. And the fact that Toptus has been saved there might just be a saving grace.
Where the bear fit into this picture? Is he gonna catch these guys? Is he gonna find it?
He's even fairly on penalties. If he had less penalties, I would tell you right now, Striff, that this man would win the race. But Vexit is no slouch when it comes to pace. Toptus has been up there with him this race as well. So these two, they've been showing great form all race long. Ben's already on 6 seconds of penalties. The only saving grace Ben has is the fight. That's going on. And he's got plenty of laps to do it. 16 laps.
Remco! Liam! They take Liam in the gravel. I don't know if there's a snap or what caused that. But Liam in the gravel now. Toptus exchanging on the exit now of turn 4 here. Toptus. Turn 3 into turn 4. Toptus outside. A little bit breaks Vexit holding well.
Yeah, Toptus just sneaking back through there into leader things. Vexit dropping down into P2. Vincent, well, is the session after his crazy crash at turn 9. He won't be happy about that one. Toptus now the one steaming away from Vexit, but Vexit, he will be able to stay within DRS. He just needs to make sure that this ERS disadvantage he's at right now doesn't cost him in the last few. become a few back markers as well. Domi, I don't think we were expecting him to be a back marker in this. And well, there's Domi letting him through. There's Linus's AI as well. Just actually pulling off to the right. They're not really causing a problem. Here comes a Vexit lapping his teammate, and he gets past Linus as well, who's very early on the brakes, given that is an AI-controlled car. Vexit, he's lost a bit of time here to Tuptus. But is it going to be enough? He's out of DRS range in a dangerous spot, because out of all the places on track, if Tuptus realizes this, he could push now, and he does. He's blinking onto that battery. This is the place on the track where you don't have DRS. The detection zone out of turn 9 is for the start-finish straight. And well, Vexit needs to be sure that he gets within it. He's going to be close. He's outside of it right now. 1 second, the gap, 1.1. He might not get this here. Shiv coming through into the penultimate corner. And he is out of DRS. So Vexit now in a bad situation. Tuptus, this is the point where he has to push. So we'll see what he's able to do. 1.2 seconds now the gap. He seems to have a little bit more pace at this stage of the race. His tyres are 1 lap fresher. And penalties, well, he's got 1 more second than Vexit. But right now, if he crossed the line, you know, we red flagged it right here, he would win by about 2/10.
This is just a wild exchange of racing we've seen in this one. The gaps, the strategy here. I'm trying to do as much commentating as I can, but apparently I'm going Mr. Roboto quite a bit, given some of my instability here over on my end on the internet. But I'm doing what I can whilst getting invites out to some of these drivers today. We've had some interesting connectivity issues, and thank you everybody hanging in the stream for this one.
It's been a great race. Whether there's been a juggling act behind the scenes or not, the racing action has been well worth it. Ben under a bit of pressure from Remco Van Putten, both drivers on fairly fresh softs. He goes up into turn 3, nothing exchanging there. Liam, he retires, the 7th driver to do so. And I do believe they've all been manual retirements. I don't think we've had a single crash that's resulted in terminal damage, unless you want to include Vincent in that. I don't know whether that was terminal damage or a retirement in the wall. Either way, that was as a result of the contact, but it's a bit of a weird one we've not really saw. Remco though, still putting pressure on.
No. Liam with that unfortunate retirement, you know, the car coming out of the pit lane, that's something that we see maybe not happen as much in the future campaigns. Take place on 2021 release. It's not long before we'll see that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be an interesting learning curve. It's going to be, you know, a new game. Last time, obviously, we had the introduction of the overtake button. And we saw the change there. Here in Austria, when we switched over shift, like we always say, we've got a lot of experience, and that's when the changeover was. This season, I doubt that's the case, but obviously, you know, there'll be plenty of pre-season racing when we test, you know, the new features that we do get. We've obviously got the new damage that's coming. A lot to look forward to. So it's going to be an exciting time to see what that new game offers us. And hopefully as well, we see a few of the bugs that we've had here this evening and throughout the season ironed out as well.
I do believe Linus back now. Come and retire that car.
Yeah, he's been down in the 13th for quite some time under the AI-controlled car. As a Haas, well, he's crashed upon rejoining the session. And, well, hopefully he can find his way to the pit lane, but he struggled here through turn 4. There's no damage on the car, so he shouldn't struggle. The tyres, though, will have a little bit of gravel on them. Larson, Ben, they're side by side with Remco joining the party as well up the inside of the McLaren. And he sneaks past into P9. Can he hold off, though? The McLaren, who looks up the inside of 6, doesn't find any space there. And it's going to be Ben leading Remco, leading Larson for the final few points here in this race.
Appears Linus has had a change of faith and has opted to
gone round
switch
again.
off the counter-strike and get back into the car. You love to see it. You really do.
Well, he's a lap down now. And there's not a lot of hope for him in this, even if there was a safety car. Remco Van Puyen up the inside of Ben. A bit of a lunge there. And Larson, a loss of traction. That's dropped him to the 2 cars ahead. He needs these guys to fight if he wants to be brought back into the battle for P8. As here it looks like Linus will be coming into the pit lane. As it would appear our very own Striffium has had a bit of a connection problem. So we'll just get Striff back in here. Although the game not wanting to play ball there, we can't invite through the Steam menu. There we go, Linus out of this one. There we go. Apologies that you get to see the invite menu there for the time being, but hopefully we can get Striffium back in here. Hopefully it's not too much of a colossal net problem there, but he is back into the lobby. Battle for P1.
I haven't got a clue what happened there. Unfortunately, I was disconnected from Steam, and we're back. Not good. Lap 62 out of 71, watching Vexit continue to hunt down Tuptus.
Yeah, he's just biding his time again, building up that ERS. He's level now with Tuptus. But I think now it's going to be a game. Just play, wait until the end. A bit like what we see in Brazil when we went there in the tier. The tiered action. But now, as we come through, they're going to cross onto lap 63. The Renault in lead of things. The Williams in P2. And it's just been an all-out battle between these two. Ben is slowly catching as well. The penalties probably going to hold him back from being too much in this. But at the end of this one, we'll see whether he can provide any sort of late-minute drama. But at the moment, it seems that he doesn't have the pace to catch up to these two. And that's surprising when you're referencing Ben the Bear. But he did start down in 13th. He's got his way up onto the podium. Hopefully this time he can finish on the podium. Because last week out, he was on for a podium finish. He got cut short by his controller. He's completely shutting down there. But a new peripheral, a new race. And it looks like he's on for that top 3. Jesper there in P4. Well, he's out of the penalty range, but he doesn't have any himself, so that might be a bit of an opportunity. Cody Lawrence, 21 laps on the soft shift. You got to imagine he's going to be into the pit lane soon to replace those tyres.
No doubt. No doubt in my mind that those 21 lap old, 22 lap old softs for Jake and any driver on them, you got Larson in that mixture as well. It's going to be a tough time. Big time.
And it's just Vexit just still holding on to the rear Tuptus, forcing that Renault to use up ERS, playing the management game. And that's what we've seen in a lot of these late races. It's one thing that the ERS overtake button, simplifying that system a little bit into this game. We saw it's been a year now since it was introduced. We're coming to the end of the game. Also, I do believe it is being carried forward into the next one, but it's been a great addition. The management has been very interesting and exciting to see, and it's provided us situations like this. Everyone now in, a little bit of a groove. Remco, Ben, they're still tooth and nail. They've dropped off a bit of Jake. Remco doesn't have the DRS there. Jake's had a problem there. Thought it was a lapped car for a second. We were about to switch off. He's lost his end plate. And as a result, he's dropped a couple of positions. Remco Van Putten, he's going to lose a couple of positions on the line if he's not careful. He picks up a 3-second time penalty. There goes Jake, dropping another place as he comes into the pit lane. And this might be a bit of a retirement here. He doesn't speed into the pit lane. He might be able to get fastest lap in here. Mikkel, though, this might be points. He told us before the race it was points on his mind. It's points positions for him. He's got 2 cars behind him. He's got a healthy lead to Domi. Jake, though, might be a threat in the closing stages. Can he close a fairly large gap, though? It's softs versus old mediums. It's possible.
Sitting with 12 seconds, though, Jake. He's got his own issues there, so I don't think it's going to be likely that he's going to get Mick. I just don't see it happening.
Ben not doing much on the rear of Remco right now. Vexit Tupter standing to turn 4. Nothing exchanging there between the 2 leaders. And you can see Vexit's nearly fully recharged his battery. Tuptus, though, you've got to give credit where credit's due. He's nearly pushed it to 75%. He's just dancing on that 3/4 full. And he's doing very well to control this race from the front. Does he have enough, though, to just keep Vexit at bay when he inevitably pushes? We're in the last 5 laps. Ben picks up another penalty there in the Ferrari. That's going to be a problem for him as he hunts down Remco Van Putten. Remco blinking there on the rain light, showing that he's pushing with that ERS. Up the inside goes the Ferrari. And as easy as you like, he is ahead of the Dutchman. Back to the front too, and is this the move for Vexit? He's used a bit of ERS. He's on the inside of the Renault, and here he goes later on the brakes. Tuptus is going to try and find it, though, around the outside. Can he hold on? No, he can't. And DRS is going to be... Well, you'd have thought it would have been in the Renault's favour. Coming out there, but...
It is, yeah. The rear wing wide open for Tuptus.
Some weird visual glitch I've got here this evening. Where rear wings just aren't opening.
That is very interesting. I can tell you certainly, though, Tuptus was utilizing, but it just wasn't enough. Just wasn't enough. Remco with Ben still. Less than a second the gap there. We have a couple fights on track. We have a yellow flag.
It's
Where's
Larson.
this? Larson. That's not good. That's actually coming outside of the final turn on track. Here goes Mick. And that's 9th position for the Australian now.
Yep, that's points pretty much secured, and that's better than when he ran around here in APAC Division. This race there was sort of the final nail in his championship run's coffin. Ever since that horrifying race to the Australian, it just sort of all came crumbling down. Confidence seemed to be knocked out of him. Ben just sort of ran away from the championship from there on out. Obviously, Ben, a lot of pace out that season, but Mikkel, the wind was really knocked out of his sails. Still managed to claw back P2 in the championship, but this race in particular, definitely a turning point, it would seem, in the mentality there.
Trying to look at the penalties right now, and Tuptus with that 9 seconds, it's just not in it for him. If he, of course, well, the penalties here, they can be so crucial. 9 seconds is definitely not what you want to have when you're within a second of the guy in front of you.
Yeah, you know, Vexit's got enough of his own. If he picks up a 3-second time penalty, it goes to 8. So that sort of equalizes things out for Tuptus here. But at the same time, you've got to feel for Tuptus. It's going to be difficult here. He was doing so well to command this race from the front. Not only that, but you've got in his rearview mirror now approaching Ben the Bear. And, well, if you look at the penalties, Ben, 3 seconds less. So P2 very much on for Ben. I don't think he's going to have to get Vexit under any circumstance unless Vexit gets 2 penalties in the next 2 laps. But Ben very much on for a P2 hit. A bit of redemption for him. You love to see that. Race ended early last week, like we said, with mechanical issues. But this week, he's come back and he's done it once more on that alternate strategy. Cody as well. Brilliant race for him. Not quite replicating first last week, but he started 19th. He's up into 5th right now. I don't think he's going to get anything on the penalties given the gap there. Also worth pointing out, the tyre management for him 27 laps, Striff, on these soft tyres. It'll be 29 by the time he's done. That is a huge stint by the Racing Point driver.
Off compound tires to that point. I mean, Larson, he stayed out on his as well. We saw Jake come in to get off of them. And they are feeling horrible for these guys. Look at this. He's in. Cody Lawrence in, getting those tires switched over.
He doesn't have a puncture, so it's just he must be running on a fine line to be called in this late. Maybe a fastest lap attempt. He's got the gap behind. You see this in real life as well. We might even see it tomorrow, but he's got the gap behind. He needs to get off these. Jasko's on 10 lap, well, now 11 lap old mediums. We'll see the Red Bull round the first corner in a second, but not from Cody's rear view mirror. We won't. As he picks up a 3-second time penalty to boot there in the Red Bull. But yeah, just making sure he doesn't have a puncture. He's got the gap behind. May as well give himself one last attempt at fastest lap as well. He's got clear air too. He won't have DRS, and I know Vexit, I think, who currently has it, as Mikkel picks up a 3 seconds. Vexit did have DRS to aid him through there. But there we go. Tuptus on the run up into turn 3. Well, he's going to vote for it, but it's a little light tap there to Vexit. He's trying to be patient here, but really, the move doesn't really matter for him. But he's going to try and get something done anyway. Vexit, he's running out of ERS. Here goes Tuptus around the outside into turn 4, and these two fighting. Does this bring Ben the Bear into anything? It's the last lap of the race, so you think not, but if these two crash, and we've just seen a little bit of contact there between the two of them into turn 3, Vexit will be just hoping that Tuptus just keeps to himself, holds his lane, and stays back in P2, and it will be a drop to P3, we think, with penalties. Vexit around the penultimate corner, in through the final one, and it's been a great season for this man. It's been a great end to the season, and he takes the win here in Austria. Tuptus P2. Ben the Bear, though, won't get promoted. He loses out by less than a tenth. Ben the Bear, P3 by 0.065 Striff. That is such a tight gap. Jesper, what a great drive from the Haas driver. He will take home P4. Not able to keep with the front two, but just drove his own race. Gets himself done there. Cody will come in P5. Domi, well, he's had a problem here. Is he doing donuts? I think he is. But Cody, well, he did a monster stint on those softs. Not confident that they're going to get home. Does he find fastest lap here? He's empty on the ERS. He's used all of it that he's had available to him this lap. The Racing Point coming through the final corner. And there it is. Does he get it? Yes, he does. A 103.897 to round out his race. And an extra point there for the American, going by his real name rather than his usual name of some idiot there. But once again, proving that he is far from an idiot. And a great drive from 19th to 5th. Jasko P6, Ben P7, Remco Van Putten 8th, Mikkel 9th. Finishing in the points like he said he would. Better than he did in APAC, like I said. It's a bit of redemption for him. Larson finishes in the points as well. 1 point for the McLaren, who has a bit of damage from a last lap incident. Yake, well, he finished outside the points in 11th. And Domi, well, he's finished his donuts, it would seem. Got his 10-second time penalty. Rounds the final corner and will be the last driver to finish. We also had Linus, Liam, Jean, Max O'Connor, Vincent, Mark, Fordor, and Yags in this race. But that is it for a 100% distance race around Austria, the second week in a row, just like the real F1. We'll see that tomorrow. Driver of the day, of course, going to Mr. Cody Lawrence. There, a huge performance from him. But there he is, P1, Williams driver, who's just had an excellent end to his season. George Russell in the top 10 for the first time. And Vexit, well, it's been a great evening for England all around. 4-0 against Ukraine. And now, a P1 as well.
You'd love to see it. You'd love to see it. I'm speaking on a minimal basis here, as my internet, unfortunately, giving me a bit of problems. But, man, that was an amazing campaign to watch unfold here. Absolutely brilliant campaign. And, of course, we're going to have the official announcement about the rig winner coming out after this race. But what just a great drive from Vexit and Tuptus. Penalties aside, they fought. this entire campaign. Ben the Bear 13th to 3rd. We saw Jesper started in 3rd. He finishes 4th here. And it was Cody Lawrence, 19th on the grid, all the way to 5th, collecting that Game Awarded Driver of the Day and the fastest lap to boot, a 103.897.
Yeah, brilliant. Drive all around the top 2, staying where they started. Penalties there. Tuptus, we'll get a quick interview with him in a moment. But Ben the Bear, well, we'll see what he has to say. Losing out there by less than a 10th. He'll be disappointed, you can imagine. But, well, that rounds out the race. And hopefully we can get interviews with all 3 drivers. But, my goodness, what a race. Hopefully that precedes an entertaining race tomorrow. But before we go, we have obviously the closing announcements. But, of course, we're just trying to get some interviews with the drivers who finished on the podium. And first for them, well, it didn't happen last week for you, but this week, Ben, you came back. It's a podium. We thought you were going to have one last week. Your controller stopped you. This week, it looked like you were going to get P2. You lost it by just under a 10th. How are you feeling after that one?
Very tired from that. I think, the last stint was stressful because I had the penalties and, just had to keep pushing, I think. And I think I made a mistake at the last turn, probably that just cost that P2 spot. And also ran out of ERS. I ran out of everything. I gave it all. At least P3 from where I started was a great result. I'll take it.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a great charge through the field. One thing, before we get on to the race, the qualifying, Ben, what was your strategy going into that? We saw you drop your first lap on the softs. Obviously, you had a little bit of disconnect at the start, so you had less time than everyone else. But you started your first lap on the softs, dropped that one. It was a very, very strong lap. Then you hop onto the mediums. You get 13th place. What was the strategy there? Did you not think, all good position, or was it always the plan to start on the mediums there?
It was a lot of things was going through my mind. Probably just, there was like mixed strategies, like soft mediums. Those 2 strategies work well, but I wanted to at least, creep into the top 10 or at least top 8, maybe if I'm honest. But I think I made a mistake again on my quali run, so it probably demoted me down a bit more than where I wanted to start. So you could have gone either way.
Absolutely. Then, of course, we had the race. We didn't have a VSC. We didn't have a safety car. So strategies were just let to flow out naturally, completely as you planned it. And, well, it's fair to say it went pretty well for you. Sort of talk us through it, because you seem to pick up a few penalties pretty early on. It's uncharacteristic a little bit, but 6 seconds was your total time. And it cost you in the end, of course. But just sort of, you seemed to have a pretty calm race. There wasn't too much sort of on-track action in your ballpark, but still a few penalties. Just talk us through that.
To be honest, I was pushing flat out from the beginning, from when the lights went out. So I was just taking massive gambles and massive risk at the same time. Probably did, go over a bit of a track limits also, probably when fighting against other drivers as well. I think, making a marginal mistakes, that can be costly. So, but, mostly it's probably just due to me just being probably frustrated from just, trying to catch up with the top 2. But, those 2 drivers are bloody quick. And, there was, again, the penalties, I think, was just from me just pushing flat out, I think, trying to close the gap to them. But at the end, got marginal 2 seconds. I'll take that, but still more to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Ben, congratulations. You got your podium that was robbed from you by your controller last week. Congratulations. No APAC tomorrow, of course, because we're in the off-season, but there's a race to enjoy. So, Ben, congratulations once again on the podium, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you, Unicorn.
All right, then, of course, second to second, a man who was involved in a very, very tight battle with the race winner, Tuptus. It was close with Vexit on track. It was close with Ben in terms of the penalties at the end. Started P2, finished P2. How was that race for you?
It was very painful. Yeah, the penalties were the thing why I got P2. But yeah, I don't know what to say.
Well, it was a tough battle, obviously. You know, we saw you and Vexit going side by side, lap after lap. Talk us through the ERS management there, because obviously every time you're behind, you've got a harvest, but you seem to be controlling the pace quite nicely when you're in front as well. You know, you charge your battery up to about 75%. How are you managing that? Was it just raw pace? Do you think, you know, Vexit was just trying to farm as well? Talk us through that battle, because it went on for quite some time throughout that race.
Yeah, every time I got first on track, I tried to stay at 70% of ERS. Yeah, and if Vexit was quicker, I just wanted to let him go and then recharge the ERS. And then try again.
Well, Tuptus, it was a great race, you know, obviously side by side. We just got to talk about the penalty situation a little bit, because you beat Ben by just over 10. Were you aware of how close that penalty was, or were you just pushing, you know, flat out in those last few laps to make sure to try and stay ahead of him?
Yeah, when I was side to side with Vexit, I thought I wouldn't make it, but then somehow, yeah, I could.
Well, Tuptus, congratulations. Great race. You didn't lose any positions, but P2, a podium, a great result overall, so congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, and then last but not least, race winner, Vexit. I feel like I've been calling you that quite a lot recently. It's been another excellent drive from you, you know, here on the podium, top spot at Austria. It didn't go particularly well for you last week, if I remember correctly, in the endurance race. But this week, the complete opposite. Here you are. Tossa, how was that race for you?
Very intense and at the end a bit harder than it needed to be. When I went for the pits on lap 48, for the soft tires, I think I had an AI car in front of me that had no wing. So that not only cost me a 5-second penalty, because I had to go around him and then had to brake on the grass in the pit lane. I also got held up on the pit entry and even in the pit lane, because for some reason the game decided to make cut the damaged cars travel a lot slower than without damage. But yeah, it was a very tough race, a very fun race, and yeah, very intense with Toptus, and GG to him.
Yeah, well, obviously, we have to talk about that battle, because it was side by side throughout, pretty much start to finish. You know, you both started on the front row first and second. You both finished first and second. Not swapping around there. You only had 5 seconds of penalties. You know, just, I can't remember what that was for. I imagine potentially speeding into the pit lane.
Yeah. Because I had to avoid the AI. Yeah.
But Tuptus obviously picked up a few in the late stages. But just the side by side action, you mentioned it there. It was intense. It was fun. Just how much does that, you know, make these races harder? Because it's long enough as it is if you were just driving around on your own, but when you're side by side for that amount of time, constantly, you know, looking around, seeing where he is, and when you're lapping cars as well, obviously it's a short lap around Austria, just how intense is that?
I actually think it's almost somewhat less intense than just doing it doing 71 laps by yourself, because it means that there's more adrenaline going through your brain, and that means you're going to concentrate more. But if you're just alone for 71 laps, then you'll probably get a bit bored after a while, start to lose focus. So yeah, if anything, it just made the race a whole lot more fun, a lot more enjoyable, and yeah, also kept me on my toes. So yeah, really, in fact, I enjoyed it more than if I just dominated it.
Well, absolutely. You know, we already seen one English domination today. We don't need to see another. We saw some great action, though, from you, Vexit. Congratulations. Obviously, it's the off-season, so we won't be seeing you, you know, too soon, but hopefully in the next endurance, or at least soon after that. But congratulations, Vexit.
Yeah, thank you.
And with that being said, that just about wraps things up here tonight. Thank you all so much for watching along. You know, it's obviously a long one with the endurance. It's our only stream of the week, given that we are on the off season. The new season signups will be going live in the Discord in a couple of weeks time, so make sure you're in there if you want to join for next season in the tiered action or the Americas division. But with that being said, thank you all so much for watching. Massive shout out to our partners, Next Level Racing. Of course, we gave away a rig to Jesse, so congratulations to him. And thank you to all who participated in that one. Check them out, !NLR, to go to their website to check out their amazing products, sim racing rigs, wheel stands, motion sims. But thank you all so much for watching. Thank you to the Raiders earlier on. You know, We had Crazy Skullman just a moment ago with the raid, as well as earlier on. It's not showing up, but we did have another one earlier on. We thanked you earlier, but thank you all so much for watching. Obviously, we're in the off-season, so no racing this week, but we will be back when Silverstone is on. We hope you all enjoy the real Austrian Grand Prix tomorrow for the real F1, but thank you all for watching. We'll catch you in the next one.
We are back. We are back with some tier 1 action.
And that is the AlphaTauri of Adrian straight head on into the Red Bull. And the Kai Bacchini has joined the party, and he's on these medium compound tires in the Merc. Is very late braking from the Ferrari. He locks up and he blocks Zamis. And who is that? That is Jean with a fantastic exit, and he is going to get ahead of both of them here. So I believe it's crossing the line now, checkered flag. Adam and Bajar in the first two to catch it early. Vettel now rounding the final two turns of 22 and 23 here in Singapore. The Racing Points collect the 1-2. Battery, there goes Ben the Bear now just ahead, taking the checkered flag, coming through the Casio triangle. It's still wheel to wheel between these two. Mick out with a great traction. Oh, what a run out of the chicane, and he gets it done. How's the exit for the Ferrari? Good so far. You can see wheel to wheel coming down the straight into turn 4. It's the Ferrari leading through. Ben, wheel to wheel now with Revo, and he has so much pace in this Racing Point right now. It's wheel to wheel between these two. How's somebody gonna go? He's drifted off. Does the exit? What an exit out of the Williams. Does he get him? There's a big snap. Jake looking on the inside of 8 and 9. It's the Mercedes coming around the outside of 9. Does he get this move done on Tim? This is huge. This is absolutely massive. A drag race coming through 10 now, down into 11. Here we go, and Zamis has the popcorn.
So Yuki tries to turn in, and Domi just says,
oh, the stars.
Goes for a second.
What a move from the stars. That is the Renault of Van Putten up the inside of the Williams into turn 1. Freeware's gonna get Yoda. Freeware's gonna get Yoda.
Yoda wins the race!